Hello there and welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to share something that's really important, not just from the point of view of business. Okay, so I'm going to share a business plan actually, but it's not important from that perspective, but it's also important from the perspective of what's going to happen next. Okay, so the next shift is coming, and sooner or later, we all will be part of this shift, and I'm going to um, give you a business plan which is going to exploit this opportunity. Okay, and if you have the right amount of investment, if you have the right level of capacity to execute this idea, you will be able to create huge amount of wealth, because this is something nobody is doing. No AI companies are doing it right now, and I'm really not sure why they're not doing this, why they are not able to figure it out. But I guess sooner or later someone is going to figure it out and they will execute this idea. I'm sharing this idea here because I do not have that kind of money to execute this idea, and it is not really everyone's cup of tea, because it requires a huge amount of investment. So because already creating AI is high intensive, investment intensive, endeavor. So it's really not possible for a common person to actually use and exploit this idea. So I'm sharing this online just so that you can at least have an understanding of what's going to happen. Maybe if you have money, you'll be able to work this out, right? So who knows? But yeah, this is the main idea here is to make you familiar with what's going to happen and how you can actually use this business idea if you want to kind of build the next big thing in AI, right? And So let's get started. And before we do that, please make sure to subscribe to this channel, because I'll be sharing more such ideas. Also, throughout the video, if you feel some background noise are coming, please ignore those background noises, because my mic is kind of capturing those noises. So it happens this neighborhood is really chaotic. So please ignore those noises and watch this video and focus on what I'm saying. So that will be more informative. So yeah, so let's get started and see what's going to happen. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to give you a background of what's currently happening, and what's the kind of paradigm shift that's going to happen sooner, and it's coming up, it's the next big thing, and you won't realize this. So just let's not miss on this opportunity if you have money. So let's talk about what Google did. So what Google did, Google kind of 20 years back, Google created this search engine, and it kind of shifted the entire approach to how we access information, and kind of it also created a way to kind of advertise online, right? So it it did a paradigm shift, obviously. People started accessing information online, they started searching, accessing information throughout the internet, it became a lot easier, a lot faster. And Google used this opportunity to create its revenue source. So what Google does, Google kind of takes your user data. So you are a user who is searching on Google, and Google kind of collects information about you. So what kind of search term you are doing, what is your search intent, what is your behavior, online behavior, as in what kind of websites you are visiting, what kind of products you are purchasing and everything. So it's kind of it tracks you, right? And what this does, this gives your all your activities. So all your activities, so kind of they are kind of processed in a manner, so that this activity, this data, your age group, your income level, your kind of what kind of search time you're doing. So Google groups everything all together, all the users, and in some manner it does not directly exposes your data to the businesses, but it kind of groups everything in a manner so that it stays hidden, and it exposes your activities to businesses. So it has tools like Google Ads, and businesses are able to use Google Ads to access such information about where their target audience could be. So it kind of like businesses can precisely target where their users are, right? And businesses actually what they do, based on their user group, they're able to advertise, and this works really well. Kind of like if a user is searching for, let's say, uh, shoe, or like sports shoe or anything as such, and if some brand is selling sports shoe, they will be able to target this user really well. Okay, but this is kind of like this is how Google created its most of its revenue, and this has really helped Google become one of the biggest companies at the moment. Okay, and not only that, Google is also an AI company, and it has tons of data. Like it's far bigger than OpenAI or any other company in the market right now, and it has like like huge potential to even kind of, you can say, uh, overcome the competition it's getting from OpenAI and everything. But I'm not sure why it's kind of like it is, the models are not really well as compared to its competitors. But still, like Google is still superior, and it's not something you want to compete with at the moment. Obviously there are very smart people at Google, but still, like this is their whole approach, and this is what, yeah, what we are doing right now. Okay, like you are a user, you are going to a website, you are doing certain activity, Google is sharing your data with businesses. Businesses are able to target you, they are showing you ads on Google, sorry, ads on YouTube, they are showing ads on search pages. Also, whenever you visit any website or any app, they show you display ads, right? So these display ads are shown to you, and they are kind of retargeting ads. So they are shown to you when you visit certain websites, so that they start retargeting you, so that you will be able to convert. So let's say you visited a shopping like sports shoe website, so those that website will be able to retarget you if they have certain sufficient amount of audience already. So they will be able to like retarget you again and again. So this is how kind of display advertising works. Traditionally people used to advertise in magazines, papers and everything, but right now like Google has completely kind of like killed that kind of advertising. It's still there, it's not going to be replaced entirely, but like Google has killed that approach. Okay, Google has shifted this advertising paradigm, and like businesses are moving towards online advertising really really fast, and they are getting digital every single day. So most of the businesses now have their Instagram account, YouTube page, Facebook page, they have websites and whatnot. Okay, so businesses getting digital, and they're using these tools to advertise and reach out to more customers. And this is actually really giving Google tons of profit. They are making huge amount of profit. Okay, but while this process is going on, all of a sudden, large language models popped in. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so the business plan starts from here. So the large language models popped in, and they kind of like they kind of are shifting people's the way people interact, the way people retrieve information. Large language models, I believe, are kind of like a human developed information aggregator system. I believe like it's able to give you response in a more customized manner. So earlier on Google search, you had just a input form, and here you typed like search term, and whatever search term you're typing, you are not actually able to explain what you're looking for, but you just guess. Okay, so this is what I should type, and you just get a bunch of websites, and you have to figure out what information to consume. And I believe in recent years Google has become really biased towards old websites. New websites are not coming up like in the search results, and it's really weird to me, like why Google is doing this. But still, like uh, this is the limitation. Current limitation is you will only be able to search for a specific term, and you are getting all the like responses and everything, and then you have to figure it out. But what LLMs have done, LLMs have kind of like become your like opposite kind of helper kind of. So they not only can help you answer your question in a more personalized manner, but they're also if they're given access to internet, APIs, and code editors, whatever IDEs, everything, so they can do tons of things. So they can access internet, they can execute functions, they can access call APIs and everything. So they can do a lot of things. So that means your experience with LLMs is becoming more personalized day by day. So instead of searching on Google, what you can do, you can simply ask your specific question that you are looking for to an LLM. LLM will be able to not LLM exactly, the chatbot, I would say, the chat GPT kind of interface. So this chat GPT kind of interface is actually an agentic system. Okay, so it's not exactly the LLM, but it is developed. The LLM is the backbone, and rest of the things are kind of developed within the layer. So it's kind of agentic in nature. So these chatbots are kind of becoming really helpful in giving you a more personalized response. And I believe this is going to replace Google to some extent, if not entirely. It's going to send audience from this place to this place. More and more people will jump ship, they will move towards LLMs, and this is a really huge business opportunity. Okay, and people are not realizing this. Sooner, many people will jump ships, they will move towards LLMs. They will, whatever query they have, they will ask to the LLM. Okay, and the first mover advantage is obviously to OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Google also has Gemini, and people are using it, no doubt. But Gemini, I believe, is not as good as OpenAI's. But the best one is obviously Claude. So Claude is still they do not have that kind of I'm not sure exposure, but still if you have Gemini and this OpenAI's ChatGPT, then obviously ChatGPT has kind of advantage, right? And people are moving towards LLM. So this is something you should keep in mind. So first thing is people will shift towards this agentic chatbots, and these agentic chatbots will be able to perform tons of actions. So they will be able to search online. Okay, they'll be able to search, they will be able to answer all your questions in a more personalized manner. You can even re-ask something if you have confusion, if you want some explanation on certain things, they will be able to do this. And people do that, and it's really effective. The way ChatGPT search and everything works, it's actually really good. And I believe I'm not sure whether they are using Google APIs, Google Search API, or Microsoft's Search API, but still it's really kind of it works well, and it's able to give information based on the searches. So it's doing the search for you. Okay, and Google also has this integration in Gemini. And the thing is, here, what's going to happen? So first thing, people will move toward LLM, not entirely, but to a great extent, people will move towards LLM. But there is a problem, right? So these LLMs have a huge training cost. So they not only have this training cost, they also have other things like inference time, compute. They have to generate revenue, and they are kind of there is a lot of things going on, right? And they are not really making profit right now. So OpenAI is not really making profit at the moment because they are actually losing money. So the thing is, one way of monetizing this is to sell subscription, and this is what these companies are doing. They're selling subscription, right? And I believe this is not the correct approach. This is where my business plan starts, right? I believe selling subscription on AI model may not be the best approach. Obviously, you'll be losing money if you do not sell subscription. At least you're making some amount of money, right? But the thing is, this is not the best approach, because what these companies need to do, they need to make their products free of cost, so that more and more people can adopt and more people can use. Okay, obviously they are going to burn a lot of cash, right? But if they manage to figure this out, the thing that I'm going to tell you next, then definitely, they will be able to recover everything they have lost. And if you have the money, you'll be able to execute this thing. So let's come to the core, core idea of this business plan and how this is going to work. And this system is really, really interesting. And this is actually, if more and more people start adopting this LLM based, querying and interaction, they will then, Google search engines and everything will be kind of like outdated approach. It will still exist because YouTube is there, so it's really amazing. And but still, like, to a great extent, these companies will have a dominance, and they will generate huge amount of revenue if they apply this approach. Okay, so subscription based approach is a kind of like, failure for me. It's because, nobody wants to pay $200 per month or 25. People, those who have, good amount of money, they won't mind paying. If they have use cases, if they're making, things out a bit, they're okay with paying. But I don't think, this is the right approach when you have such a solid product. Okay, and the thing is, you can sell your APIs. So API access, you can sell your API access based on subscription. That's not an issue. But when it comes to, this chat GPT based, things, model access and everything, these things should, I believe, should be uh, free of cost. Why? It's because you want the user to get used to your product, right? So you want user to get used to the product, so that they get addicted, they get dependent on your product, and they should not be leaving your product. This means, they should become habitual of using your product, so that they can simply rely. And you have to create tons of, you can say, product design in a manner so that people can go back to the product again and again. So for example, you can, create certain things like notes and other information, so that people can actually have a reason to go back. And this is something all about, product development. Not going to go into that direction, but the thing is, what you have to do. So if you want to build the next AI business, right, and if you want to make, revenue in billions, right, so it's 10 billion, 100 billion, I'm not sure how much one can print, but if you want to do this is your time, and people are not realizing. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. So we have three things: first, second. So let me, create three rectangles here, and these three things. So let me first, talk about the first thing, and then I'll talk about these things. Okay, so first thing first, how first of all, you need an LLM, right? Large language model. And if you are creating a business, you want to make sure that this LLM is as good as the existing LLMs. So OpenAI's models, and Claude, Gemini, etc. So you want your LLM to be as good as these models. Okay, and if your LLM is really good, if your product is good, you'll be able to create a better, chat GPT based application, right? You simply have to do this chat GPT based application, but you want to integrate tons of agentic workflows. So for example, you want to add functionalities this model should be able to not only interact with user, so user interaction plus user should be able to do tons of things, model should be able to do tons of things like accessing internet, running code, calling APIs, functions, like plugins, etc. So these are things like you should be able to implement, and you should have like some product advantage over all the existing products if you really want to succeed, so that people can actually use your product, right? So this is something you have to keep in mind, like your product should be better, or as far like at the same level as these existing products. And this is like this is something I'm not sure how you're going to achieve this, but let's say you have achieved it. Okay, if your product is kind of like better at the same level as other models, so next thing you want to do is you want to make this product free of cost to the end users, like one-to-one users, not the API part. If you want businesses to access your API, that you can sell for a subscription based, but like if an end user is coming, you want to make offer your services in the best way possible, so that they stick to you. Okay, they do not leave your platform. And right now you'll be burning cash, you won't be making any profit. Users will be coming to you, they'll be using your product, and you want to make sure that users are getting addicted to your product by designing your product in such a manner so that they keep coming. So for example, like you can integrate functionalities of creating images, right? And you want to allow users to do all sorts of things, like create audio, maybe video. Like it's not possible like to do all the things, like because it's really compute heavy and it's really costly to do everything. But still, like just get an idea what I'm trying to say. So you want to create a product in a manner so that it stays like at the best, and people should flock to your product as soon as you launch it. They should be able to use it, so you should be known, so you should have a name at least. And this is what I'm saying. Now the LLM that you trained, so this is kind of like LLM, large language model. So it will have like a pre-trained kind of like weights, right? And we then fine tune this model. So this is kind of like pre-trained model, and you fine tune it for the user case. So second step is, what is the second step? Second step is pre-train it. Okay, and you want to fine tune this model in two different ways. So this is where my business idea comes in. So you want to fine tune this thing in two different manner. One is you want to fine tune and develop this model in a manner so that it offers the best experience to the user. Okay, best experience to the user. Second thing, you want to fine tune it a manner so that it helps your business in the best way possible. And how? And let's focus on this part. So this part everyone is doing, right? This part I'm not sure how many people are doing it. So you want to make sure like to give customers best experience, that you can do by creating your product design, giving them free access and everything, like do whatever you want. And then you want to fine tune this model, or you want to create another model if you have the budget, or like if you want to create a better model. So like you want to like do it in a different manner. So you want to fine tune it for the end goal, business goal, that is to make revenue, right? And how we are going to make revenue. So this is the paradigm shift I'm talking about. So the goal is to fine tune your model in such a manner so that it is able to perform like analysis like a human psychologist, a really smart human psychologist would do. Okay, so this is really about allowing your model to perform analysis on a particular user. So you are not only going to like collect the data about the user's age, like behavior, etc., what they are searching and what they are not searching, and also like you are going to get information about user's name, age, etc., etc., etc. And these are like basic information, and how much they're interacting with what kind of content and everything. But the most important thing is you want to keep this LLM, this chatbot is here, and let's say this is the user interacting with the chat user, right? So what you want to do you want another model, this another model, which is the psychologist kind of, and this another model should have the data about the entire thing this user is doing. Okay, you should obviously add these things in your terms and conditions that will be gathering all the data to do your business thing. So this psychologist, this business model is going to have the context about this, whatever this user is doing, what this user is feeling, how this user is typing messages, what this user actually does, what this user talks, everything, every single thing. So you want to kind of create a personality of this user. You want to target this user for who he is, right? So right now what Google is doing, Google is targeting based on your online activities, your search intent, your online behaviors, what kind of website you're visiting. But right now what I'm talking about, a paradigm shift. Okay, in this approach, what we are going to do, we are going to analyze the user for who he is, what he is searching for, how he is feeling at this moment, and then we are going to show this user the exact product. Okay, the correct product that user will need. So we are going to analyze, we have to you have to develop this thing. In this model alone won't be sufficient. Maybe you will have to engineer all the other things. You will have to come up with a way to kind of figure out what is the right thing that we can give to the user so that he will purchase. So you have to understand the overall user's personality. If not today, tomorrow you will be able to show him an ad that will make sure that this user will be more likely to convert. So it will have huge intent that user is going to convert. And this is something I believe will happen. Many companies, if they figure this out, they are going to do this. So basically what you're doing, you are understanding the user. Understand the user. Okay, his feelings, his mind. Okay, his feelings, mind, his behavior, what he is talking, chats and everything, what kind of person he is based on his chats, and what are his shortcomings, what are these things, what are that thing. You want to analyze this user to the core. You should have this core understanding of this particular user, what he is actually in the real world. Is he insecure about something? Can we sell him some product or something like that? So you want to basically, the first thing is to give the best experience to the user. Second thing is to create another psychologist kind of you want to create user profile. You want to profile this user in a manner so that you can show him the exact ad based on his personality, what he is feeling, how he's interacting, how he talks, behave, and everything. So that it's not based on your online website visiting experience. It's based on who you are actually. So it's based on emotion, it's based on feelings and everything. So this is what I'm talking about. This is going to happen. These models can actually analyze everything, all the sentiments and everything, right? Maybe not to the way human psychologists will do, but sooner or later we'll have models that will be capable of doing all these things, all these analysis, and they will be able to profile users, and they'll be able to help you target ads in a more detailed fashion. Now the third thing you want to do is you also want to create interface for businesses so that they can advertise with you, right? So this is also you want to do. So your entire business model will rely on advertising for the user facing part, and you are going to follow this approach. And this is going to happen sooner or later. Businesses will follow this approach. They will start profiling you based on the kind of chat you are doing, what you're asking model based on it's everything will be contextualized, and everything will work out really well. You will see more personalized ad, the way you are feeling right now. Everything will be there, and models will get better, and you, after doing tons of even like layers of engineering on top of this, it will become really, really something like something even Google does not have at this moment. And I'm not sure if they will be able to figure this out. Obviously they will be able to do this because they have everything. They have the advantage. And I'm not sure why OpenAI is not doing. Sam Altman is already, not much of like, that advertising person, so he has said about his advertising. But still, like, some companies need to figure this out, and this is really kind of like going to like completely change the whole thing, the way we advertise. So it's like, no, it's the next big thing in advertising, next big shift for advertising. So this is how advertising will work in the future. Like, you will have multi agentic systems. They will understand you so well that they can target you whatever product uh, you need. They will target you in a manner so that, yeah, you are going to purchase that product 100%, right? So this is like the power of AI. And this understanding will definitely, like, help companies become really, really good at targeting users, and they will become more profitable. And people will definitely shift from this search engine based, query, retrieving information and doing this thing, to chatbots. And they're sooner or later going to, get there. People are going to adopt these things. And definitely, these companies will like, target you based on this. They will definitely develop something closer to this, if not the perfect, something like this. And this is really something like, you should execute if you have the money, and this is going to make you profitable, definitely. But I'm not sure, like, many people won't be able to do this. But still, like, this is also informative from the point of view of, what kind of future we are going to shift into. And this, you can say, is the next shift in advertising. Okay, so the next shift in how we advertise, and this is going to happen, because obviously AI is taking over. Like, more and more people will rely on AI for accessing information, creating images, videos, like, audios, everything. Like, everything is going to happen. You will have multi AI agents and everything interacting with you on a daily basis. Phones, maybe, like, you'll soon have robots and everything interacting with you. They're not only going to collect data based on your chat interaction, but they're also going to collect data based on, like, they're going to see you, and they're going to capture everything, like, what this user is in real life. That will become more like, that will become like, really something, even you are seeing the user, you are completely keeping track of what this user is doing, what he is doing on a daily basis. And, like, you are keeping all the context and analyzing the user's behavior and everything. Like, this is going to become more like solid day by day. So you can see, this is how advertising is going to work in future. At least that's what I feel, right? And I believe, this is a really this is really something like, these AI companies are not doing it for some reason. I'm really not sure why they have not yet figured it out, why they can't shift to this advertising model. Maybe, like, uh, whatever the reason is, maybe they have not figured it out. I do not see any kind of, legal difficulties here, because obviously, if they're offering you services, they can use your data. If they're not exposing it to the businesses directly, they will be able to definitely, like, do a lot of things. And who knows, man, in, like, next year or next to next year, maybe companies will implement this idea. Maybe if someone is watching from these companies, maybe, who knows, their mind will get enlightened or something, like, they will be able to exactly, execute these things. So, yeah, I hope, like, this was helpful, this was informative to some extent. I'm not sure, like, what I uh, if this idea is actually solid. But if you feel like, if you feel like you have some kind of comment on this, feel free to, like, write it down somewhere in the comment section below, so that we can discuss on this further. And I feel this AI thing, AI based advertising, this profiling you, this psychologist, this thing is coming, and be ready to purchase everything you see. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.